Students, let us revise Chapter 2, Nouns and its subtopics. Kinds of nouns, countable and uncountable nouns. So, what is a noun? Noun is the name of a person, place, animal or thing. And there are 4 kinds of nouns. Common noun, proper noun, abstract noun and collective noun. So let us first revise common noun and proper noun. Common noun. From the word itself you can understand the name of a person, place, thing or animal commonly found, or the name of a person, place, thing or animal in general. Example, my brother is playing in the park. Here, brother and park are the common nouns. Proper noun. Proper noun is the name of a specific person, place, thing or animal. And even you can define it as the name of a particular person, place, thing or animal. Example, Delhi is the capital of India. And now we are talking about a particular place named Delhi and a particular country named India. Yes, I hope you understood this concept of common noun and proper noun. Let us check our understanding by doing this exercise. Here there is a sheet asking you to underline the common noun and circle the proper noun. So let's check it. I am going to the park with my friend Karthik and my dog Jessie. So here park, friend and dog are the common nouns. And we are talking about a particular friend named Karthik and the dog named Jessie. So they are the proper nouns. Yes, let's check the next sentence. Has your brother ever seen the Statue of Liberty? So here brother is the common noun and the Statue of Liberty is the proper noun. Yes, because we are talking about a particular Statue of Liberty. Yes, Mrs. Elizabeth entered the classroom. Mrs. Elizabeth. We are talking about a particular teacher named Mrs. Elizabeth. So Mrs. Elizabeth is the proper noun and classroom is the common noun. Our family plans to visit Taj Mahal. Family is the common noun and Taj Mahal is the proper noun. My father has been transferred to Kerala. Father is the common noun and we are talking about a particular place named Kerala. So Kerala is the proper noun. I have just read a story by Ruskin Bond. So here story is the common noun and Ruskin Bond, we are talking about a particular author named Ruskin Bond. So Ruskin Bond is the proper noun. Yes children, I hope you understood this concept. Now let's check with the next concept, collective nouns. Collective noun is the name given to a group of people, animals and things. And another definition of collective noun is collection of things, people or animals is called collective noun. Now, if there are a group of singers together, you can give the name a choir. And if there are many lines together at one place, you can give the collective noun as a pride of lines. Now, let us fill in the blanks from the box of collective nouns given over there. So, basing on the understanding of the sentence, we can choose one word and fill in the blank. A large dash of people stood on the platform. Now here, if many people are together, what do we say? Crowd. Yes, a large crowd of people stood on the platform. Second sentence. On Republic Day, a dash of soldiers marched 2 miles. Now here, if there are many soldiers together, so what word do we use? A army of soldiers. A dash of sheep grazed on the hillside. If there are many sheep together, what do we say? A flock of sheep grazed on the hillside. Mr. Sharma wants that dash of keys. If there are a collection of keys together, it is called as a bunch of keys. There is a dash of ships at the harbor. So there is only one more collective noun left. And what is it? There is a fleet of ships at the harbor. Yes, I hope you understood the concept of collective nouns too. Let's check the next concept, abstract nouns. Abstract nouns cannot be perceived through the sense organs. We cannot touch, hear, smell, or see them. They can only be felt. So here, like example, bravery, gentleness, confidence, grief, these are abstract nouns. Here, sometimes abstract nouns even refer to emotions and concepts. So let us identify the abstract nouns from the sentences given below. Gandhiji embraced truth and non-violence. So here you can find two different words. Truth and non-violence are the abstract nouns. The soldier displayed his bravery for his country. Now here, what did the soldier do? He displayed his bravery for his country. So bravery is the abstract noun. The girls were filled with joy. So here, joy is the abstract noun. I already told you, you can only feel. You can't touch, see, hear, or smell them. Yes, such kind of words are called as the abstract nouns. Jahnavi's creativity was appreciated by her art teacher. So here, creativity is the abstract noun. Every time I hear the national anthem, my heart fills up with patriotism. So it's a feeling. How do you feel? Patriotic. So patriotism is the abstract noun. Yes, children, hope you understood how to identify common noun, proper noun, collective noun, and abstract noun. Now, let us revise the next topic, countable and uncountable nouns. So, countable nouns refers to things that can be counted. Now, countable nouns can be counted and treated as separate items. Yes? And countable nouns have both singular and plural form. For example, now if it is single, you say a car, and plural, you say 3 cars. And we can use a definite number before a countable noun. As I told you the example, 3 cars. So you can tell 3, 4, 5. So you can give a definite number to it. When it is in singular, you say, I saw an elephant in the zoo. Why I used a and an is usually for singular countable nouns, you use these articles a and an. Yes. Now, if the countable nouns are plural, now what do we use? We use certain words before them, such as a few, many, and several. So one example, there are many dogs in our colony. So you're talking about the number of dogs, that there are many. Now let's check the next one, uncountable nouns. In the word itself, you can say that they are not countable. You cannot count them. And they cannot be counted and also separated. That's why they are called as uncountable nouns. And mostly uncountable nouns are ideas and concepts. So now when it comes to countable nouns, let me just again go back to countable nouns. Some countable nouns such as jeans, spectacles, binoculars, scissors, trousers, they all end with S and they form their plurals differently. Now we use the phrase a pair of before these nouns. Such phrases are called quantifiers. Now when we use certain words before them, they are called as quantifiers. Now when it comes to expressing the quantity of uncountable nouns, we can use words like a piece of information, a heap of garbage, a strand of hair, a bale of cotton. Yes, so I hope you understood what kind of phrase should be used or what kind of quantifier should be used before countable nouns and what kind of quantifier should be used before an uncountable noun. So let's check with few examples. Now here he has given you fill in the blanks with quantifiers. Now we will read the sentence and definitely we can understand like which word, which quantifier to choose to fill in the blank. You need dash strength to move this box. So what it would be? Much, a loaf of, some, a great deal of, a bit of, a can of. So what? You need a great deal of strength to move this box. There is not dash sugar left in my cup. So what you will say? There is not much sugar left in my cup. I would like to have some juice. My brother ate a bit of cake from my plate. All brothers do that only, isn't it? Monica bought a loaf of bread and a can of fruit juice from the market. Yes, children, I hope you understood the concept of nouns, the kinds of nouns and the countable and uncountable nouns of chapter 2 of your grammar book. Students, now listen to me very carefully as I'm going to discuss about the mode of your assessment. Now here the mode of your assessment is in Google Forms and it is for 40 marks and all questions are MCQ based. MCQ means multiple choice questions. These multiple choice questions are given to test your critical and analytical thinking. Now the blueprint of the question paper is in section A, reading skills, that is an unseen comprehension passage will be given. You need to read the passage carefully and answer the questions, which is of 6 marks. Now in section B, grammar. Now already we discussed about sentences and nouns. Yes, we did many blanks, no? So based on these concepts, you will be asked which is of 20 marks. Now section C, textbooks. Children, I have already finished revision of this lesson 1, 3 questions, and lesson 3, Gopal and the Hilsa fish, through practice worksheets of meanings and question and answers. But I will be posting few more revision questions. Please do practice it in your homework books. Now, from that, you will be asked meanings 4 marks and reference to context 10 marks. So altogether, the whole paper is for 40 marks. Children, now listen to another important instruction of mine. You need to mention your name, class and section very clearly. And once you start attempting the test and when you click the submit button, I will receive all your data. So you need not post me your marks. And if you have any problem accessing this Google form, immediately you please contact me either through message or a call. And I would definitely find a solution and give you an alternative for it. All the best and please practice whatever I am posting to you. Thank you and all the best.